This is our sweet potato vine. It's basically our seed. And what happens is you have to pay attention to your nodes, because from the nodes, that's where your roots come from. By nodes, I mean the point at which your stem intersects the leaf. There's a bud that's growing there. You can see some roots there. So these roots are the ones that then produce your sweet potato tubers. So you want most of these in the ground as you plant. We are using a horizontal approach. We want most of it to lie on the ground because we believe it gives a less competition for each of the tubers. Unlike when they're vertical. If they plant it vertically, they're going to produce in this way. They'll compete for space. But if they're horizontal, they get a bit more space because it's not angular. They'll just produce the tubers straight down. So as you plant, try to put at least 2/3 of the vine in the ground, and then just leave a little bit of it so that it sprouts from there. So I think Mr. Masocha will show you how to do it. He's our field manager.
Let's do it. Oh.
If
Okay.
you've got that, you have to take it off. You just try to create it. Yeah, that's one of the most difficult weeds to deal with on the farm.
No.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Chaizo.
And then you just perfect. And then you plant the next one. Just try to put them as close as possible so that it feels like a continuous line from the first vine right through to the rest of the back of the field. So I enjoy being out in the sun. I enjoy being out on the farm. But what this essentially is for me is it's just like any other business. Um, it doesn't mean that if you're farming you have to have cracked skin. You have to wear torn clothes.
Thank you guys for the amazing support that you have been showing me at this channel. So today I have visited my first farmer. My brother, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Do you mind introducing yourself to these people?
My name is Kuda Mugabe from Taniwa Agro. We are sweet potato producers in Marsh West.
Okay, sweet potato producers. Can you tell me, a bit information about your farm?
We have about 4 or 5 different varieties of sweet potatoes. We have your ordinary German 2, which is right in the background here.
Okay.
It's red-skinned, white flesh. And then we've got Alicia. It gives you a yellowish sweet potato. We've got Covington over there. It's got an orange flesh, which is quite interesting in terms of the health movement. I think we'll get a bit more into that. And then we've got also white ones like your Chingofa 15, and then we've got the high-yielding Brontal. Those are the sweet potato varieties that we've got.
Okay, you mentioned something about healthy, in sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes, high fiber, low sugar composition. What it means for health is that if you've got a high fiber and low sugar combination, it's very good for weight loss. And also, most of our health problems come from a lot of sugar in the diet and not enough fiber. And sweet potato sort of meets, those two standards. So your orange flesh, and the nice thing about the orange fleshed sweet potato is that it's also got a lot of keratin, which is a lot of vitamin A.
Oh.
A lot of keratin means it's also good for your eyes as well. So you've got a lot of vitamin A, and then it's also got a lot of calcium for your joints, for your bones. Yeah, so that's the healthy aspect of sweet potatoes. It is a better alternative to your Irish potatoes, the ordinary potatoes.
Oh,
because of that, it's got more fiber than your ordinary potatoes. It's got a bit more. It's got a better health profile than your ordinary potatoes.
so you're saying you would recommend me to eat sweet potatoes than, the potatoes?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely recommend that. But it's a taste aspect.
Yeah.
I would recommend you to, if you're a person who likes fries, like your
Yes.
fresh chips, I would recommend you to try sweet potato fries. If they're to your taste, I would recommend those. They're better than your Irish potato fries because of the health aspect.
Okay, so how long have you been farming?
I came off college in 2009. That's when I came onto this farm. I did a bit of broiler farming. And then did a bit of tobacco, but settled for sweet potatoes as my major. But I've never left broiler farming. I have a passion for birds. And right now I've got ducks, and I'm still going to move back into broiler farming, but I've been farming since 2009.
Okay, so since 2009, right after college, were you doing farming in college?
No, I'm a sawmiller by profession. I went to a college in Mutare. at Zimbabwe College of Forestry. That's where I learned sawmilling. I'm a wood technologist. That's the correct term for the title.
Yeah.
But I never lost the love for the farm. On graduation day, that's when I made a decision that I'm going back to the farm. I had 3 or 4 job offers and I just turned them down and said I'm going back home to do farming.
Wow. Okay, so it seems like this year we have drought. How are you managing this farm? Because I can see that your crops are very healthy.
Yeah, we've got an irrigation system that's been in place. We're running on 2 dams.
Oh.
We've got 2 dams that we're running. They hold enough water for about 2 seasons for us, 2 to 3 seasons. So we've got enough water to produce with. So that has allowed us to produce like this. And I would encourage every farmer, if you're not thinking irrigation right now, I would be worried for you.
Wow.
Every farmer, when you make your sales, please do something about your irrigation situation. It doesn't have to be a full system at once, but start investing slowly into your irrigation system so that it helps you as backup.
So how have been your journey so far, in terms of, you are doing sweet potato farming, right? Here in Zimbabwe, the sales, it seems like we're just looking down at farming. What would you say to people?
Yeah, well, the journey has been good for me. It's been a learning experience, really. We started off with, I think, over 12 different varieties, and now we've narrowed it down to 4. And I think we might even, cut down on a few depending on that. So it's been an interesting, exciting journey. A few challenges here and there, but we've learned what we need to do in order to be productive when it comes to sweet potatoes. I'll tell you that this field didn't see a single hole in terms of weeding. What you see here was just herbicides because of a few years of experience. We haven't used herbicides on this plot. Our herbicide program actually worked here, and it comes from research. And yeah, it's been encouraging that way.
So you said you narrowed down from 12 to 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Why these 4? Like, what were you looking for?
Number one is yield. Some sweet potato varieties will not give you a very good yield. Some have a tendency to run. The vines just run on top of the ground with nothing underneath.
Oh.
So the first thing is yield. The second thing that we also looked at was the market potential. Initially, we started just wanting to sell vines because that's what we thought was a good business for us. So we also narrowed down to the most popular ones. And then we discovered that being popular in terms of vines is not necessarily the same in terms of yield. People will just like what they're familiar with, but we then learned that so it wasn't just about the vines. So when we then started developing ourselves into a sweet potato producer, we then realized we needed to find high yielding varieties, which we looked for. So we took out the ones that didn't produce as much. And I would also want to sell vines to farmers knowing that they'll produce a higher yield, even if they don't know the product. Give them a small sample, try it out and see how it works.
Yeah.
And also just help spread the word out there that we actually have very high yielding sweet potato varieties in the country.
Okay, for someone who would want to venture into, sweet potato farming, for some, like you are now experienced, what would you say to them? What are, the benefit? Where is the money in sweet potato farming? Is it on the ground or what?
The money is in 3 levels.
Okay.
First level is the seed, selling of vines. We don't have too many seed producers who do it well. There's so many things that come into vine production. There's a virus that hits potatoes. You have to make sure you eliminate it. There's a pest that can be carried over. Your sweet potato weevil, that mines into sweet potatoes. You also have to monitor that and make sure your vines are clean. So sweet potato seed production is a very lucrative venture, which is where it starts. You've also got the actual sweet potatoes underneath. That's where the money is again. That's also where the money is. So sweet potato, the actual sweet potato tubers, you can also sell those and make quite a bit of money. The last price that we got as we were moving around looking for a market was $1 per kg, and your expected yield is about 30 tons per hectare.
Wow.
So it's got the potential to earn you about $30,000 on the hectare on a spending of about $4,000 to $5,000 if you're doing it well. So my thinking is that I think it's that those margins are good enough. And then we've also got the potential for selling feed, making silage using whatever foliage is left on top.
Oh.
You can also maybe sell feed off that, and that becomes the third level. And whatever rejects you've got from your cells, There's a bit of chopping that happens when you harvest. There's small tubers that haven't fully developed. You can also translate those into feed. There are people exploring even flour, making bread with sweet potatoes,
Wow.
and in some countries the leaves are consumed as relish.
Yeah, I
Especially
mean,
the tender ones, they're consumed as relish. And even in there's some people, some communities that actually enjoy that as well. It's also worth exploring. So there's so many opportunities that come with sweet potato production where you can make your money.
so what are the challenges are they supposed to be like, prepared to meet?
The first challenge that a first-time sweet potato farmer can expect is bad seed. I've gone through it. When we started off buying sweet potato vines, we bought vines that were virus infected. We didn't buy them from a proper source, and we ended up having challenges, having to eliminate the viruses, and with some of the seed we actually lost because it wasn't productive. So that's the first challenge that you expect. They have to be watered right. And then the sweet potato weevil, that pest is a real threat to your production. If it infects your fields, you're in trouble. And most people don't understand it. Most people approach it like a worm or a nematode, which is wrong. It's not all that.
Yeah.
It's a weevil, and it's not soil borne. It comes off the ground and then it goes in. Especially when your vines start cracking.
Yeah.
That's when it comes. It gets into your field. So you have to know the right treatment chemical to use for it. And the best that we've seen is chlorpyrifos, but it's now got a bit of a few challenges when it comes to its residual effect, and I believe it's going to be banned, or it has already been banned. So we are now looking for an alternative to that. We haven't used it here as yet because we've since realized we need to work around life without it. But it's been the most effective against that pest.
Okay. And it
This
is.
was planted, I think, 2 days back.
Oh,
So this irrigation is for settling in, to make sure we eliminate all air pockets and just to make sure they have enough moisture to get started. So this is the last phase that was planted before.
so how many days
going
should
there.
they be getting water?
They're gonna get about 30 millimeters of water today, and then we'll then water them after another week. So it's
Oh,
just our watering is just about 30 mils. At the beginning, it's 30 mils per week, and then we'll step it up to about 50 mils a week.
a week, not every day.
No, we don't water every day.
How long have you been planting these?
This we planted last week.
Oh, last week.
No, these are 2 weeks back.
Oh.
These are 2 weeks back. There's a week between these two. So they're
Wow.
2 weeks back, and then those are about 3 weeks back. But takeoff for this has been amazing. So these were done by tractor. These ridges were done by tractor using a tobacco ridger. Trying to see, as you can see, these ridges are slightly bigger than the ones that were cattle drawn.
Yes.
That were done by cattle. They're not as straight for some reason. Yeah.
But bro, irrigation, is it that expensive though? Like,
irrigation development is not as expensive anymore. There's so many alternatives to irrigation. A sprinkler line like this, we're using a 15 horsepower submersible pump. That's what we've got. That's what we're using now. There's a bigger pump for the whole farm, which is a 75 horsepower, but we don't use it for small projects like this because it just becomes expensive. We've got a center pivot set up that's up there. That's where we use that pump for, or maybe when we want to use multiple lines here. But it's not that expensive. A set of sprinklers costs about $7-8 for a set of sprinklers. Your polypipe costs about $2 a meter. So you can play around with that and start. This is not even the most ideal situation when it comes to irrigation. We're using a very small pipe, as you can see. It's a 2-inch pipe, and then we've got this small little overhead sprinklers. But we are actually watering regardless of what it looks like. You'd rather use pipes that you can easily couple and reconnect, and when it comes to moving the lines. But we're moving lines after every 4 hours, and well, it takes us 30 minutes. It should take us less than that, but 4 hours, then you sacrifice about 30 minutes just to get going. When sales come in, you then start developing irrigation and start making it better. But
how far
you've got to start somewhere.
Okay, so how far are you getting this water?
This water is coming from about 400 meters away.
No way.
It's about 400 meters away. There's a stream that's down there, but the stream gets its feed off a dam, and it's about 400 meters away, 400 or 500 meters away.
Okay, I hope that we will see.
And 400 meters is not too far.
We are
By-
gonna go
by-
there.
by
We are
any
gonna
standards,
go
it's
there.
not too
Okay.
far. And then once you see it, you try to remove it with your hands. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. And there you go. Unfortunately, this field is not really mature yet. It's a few weeks away from maturity, but
Apa maisirira
it's
idzi
got a bit
maiona.
of potential. Then there's a bit more.
There's one more here.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that one is massive.
Saka kutsemura kwayo mambaira ngokunoratidza kuti mambaira yako yaita sei yasvika. Imwe yepasa.
Yeah, there's a lesson. Now you've learned. You have to. You always have to be careful. Yeah, because there's a very high possibility of chopping off the sweet
Ikoko
potato.
kune dzimwe futi uko.
That one's very productive, as you can see. I think we're very close to getting ready for market. Especially if we manage to get enough water for it. But it looks like we've got a bit of weevil damage that's starting up. So now we have no choice. We have to dig them out. All those lines that you can see, that's a bit of weevil damage that's coming in. And so we can't take the risk anymore. We have to dig them out and start selling.
Which one is this?
This is German 2. It's your ordinary German 2, your ordinary red skin. As you can see, it's got a red skin and then the flesh is white. This is our most basic variety in the country. That's what we're used to producing. It's the nicest, I believe, in terms of taste. That's according to my taste. Other people prefer them very sweet. If you like your sweet potatoes very sweet, this is the variety for you. If you like them not as sweet, then your oranges are.
Does this one have the weevil lines?
It does. You can see these, but the damage hasn't really started. Yeah.
These ones, they are bad.
But yeah,
This is bad news.
these are more defined. Yeah, so I think we have to start harvesting.
Yasvika. Zvokuti kana ukatochera kudai unofanira kutoona chi
Ko mashizha agona kukuudza here.
mashizha aya anoratidza nenhau yekuti sei unoona kutsvuka. Ehe, kana dzatsvuka mashizha dzotooneka kuti dzaita sei.
So there's a bit of discoloration.
Ehe,
Inotanga kuitika nemashizha. They
dzakusvika.
lose that deep green color here.
Kana dzichiri green haiwa.
Yeah.
Mukuona?
Like this.
Apa zvoratidza kuti mambaira itoripo
That
apa.
yellowing that you can see on the leaves tells
Do
you.
you mind?
Eh.
So I have to be careful, right?
Yeah. The plan is not to dig through the center.
Cherai
Start
zvakanaka.
from the edges.
Mutonyatsa kuona kuti dziripo apa.
These edges, right?
Yeah.
Ngoti mutochera zvakanaka musingadimburi.
Yeah, you've got a bit of the principle, right? Because you're also not supposed to
Iyo,
leave.
maiwa.
Come and see this.
Eh.